In this section of the course, we are going to be exploring dependency injection using the Spring framework. The first thing we really need to talk about is the Spring context. I'm going to do a demonstration of that here. And what I want to do is I'm going to create a new package called controllers. And I'm just going to call this my controller. So new Java class. We will be adding this into Git. And I'm going to use the stereotype, Spring stereotype of controller. And even though we don't have a web dependency on the class path, the Spring Web Starter is not there, so we don't have Tomcat. The stereotype of controller still will create this as a Spring Bean. So I'm just creating a mock controller here, or fake controller, I guess would be a better way to say that. And here I'm going to create a method that's going to return back a string. We'll just say hello. This doesn't take anything in, and here, let's do system out. We'll say I'm in the controller, and we'll say return. So we're just going to return back hello, everyone, with our controller method. Now, what we can do here in our Spring application, again, because we do not have Tomcat, when we run this, we'll simply start and then stop. But the Spring application here, when we do run it, you can see that this does return back an application context. So I'm going to modify this, say application context, CTX, and goes that. And the way Spring Boot works is it's going to do an annotation scan for annotated components within this. And actually, I made a mistake here. This needs to be actually under here, otherwise we would not see that. So very important about the default behavior of Spring Boot is that it configures Spring to do component scan for any annotated components in the package that it's in and below. When I had it up one level in the Spring Framework package, it would not have seen it because it's not in that current package. Here, this will work because it is in that path. So now what I can say is my controller equals, and I'm going to ask the context. I'm going to say get bean. The get bean is actually overloaded. You can see get bean. So we can do by type, class name, or name. Let's come in here and say that my controller.class. And also let's do system out from the controller. Say hello. What we're doing here is on the main method, we are asking for the application context. And then from the context, this is the Spring context that gets loaded up and configured with Spring Bean. So Spring is going to create that bean for us, put it into the context, and that context is going to hold on to it. And when we need it for things like dependency injection, the context provides it. So here I'm going directly to the context and asking for an instance of my controller. So let's go ahead and run this now. So here you can see the output on the console says in main method, so that's from this. And then in my controller, when we call to say hello, we do have I'm in the controller, and then this is the string that is returned, and we are doing the system out for that in the main method. So this is a very simple example of how Spring, in the Spring context, sees that controller that has been annotated that indicates that it is a Spring Bean, and the context creates an instance of it, holds that in the context, and when it is asked for it, it provides that component that's in the Spring context.